ladies, gentlemen, actually, I might just have a look at that just to make sure. But I hope everybody is well. Let's see. We're here. Press play. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it. Maybe that's last week's. No, it's this week. It's 26th.
Does that come up automatically in the Rumble room?
Well, yeah, it's meant to.
Because
me.
You remember
guys,
last
if you are
week?
live, our apologies. every freaking week. Oh, hold on. Click there to see live stream or more. Okay, so it says it's streaming, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Where's it streaming?
It should be streaming on. Oh, there we go. We're definitely there, and we're definitely live. So that's good. And we may even have some people watching, so that'd be even better. Hey guys, if you can hear us, just let us know in the chat. Obviously.
Well, can I see the chat this week or not? Because I can see
only if you go to Rumble.
Oh, right. No, I'm not in there.
Because sadly, we don't have that. Remember, it's Facebook and YouTube. Maybe we should just go back to doing it on Facebook and YouTube and dumping it back in here each week. I don't know. What do you think? Just move that just a little bit because it's not square. Anyway.
But well, I mean, I guess we just have to mess about a little bit more so that I can see the comments and don't feel like I'm sort of talking to thin air.
Yeah. Oh, I just got a notification on my phone telling me, you can't see that, on my watch telling me that we're live on Rumble, so that's all good. That's all good.
Oh, I wonder if I did. I do have some Rumble notifications. Sure Under the Rug started streaming.
Oh, shit.
What happens if I click that?
Click. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay. Down. It's all right. I don't know if we've got anyone watching, but that's all right. It's really they can come back and watch it later. So Neil, welcome, mate. It's been a great week. We firstly want to apologise for not being on yesterday. Of course, it was Australia Day in Australia yesterday, which some people call Invasion Day. There's a whole heap of bullshit around that. Really, it's just that more of that divide and conquer strategy that seems to be working. That idiots like to pander to.
Yeah. It's like, doesn't matter what you post. And I saw young Sam, and he'll probably come and be watching at some point. But Sam put a post in yesterday, celebrating Australia Day, and got pummeled straight off the bat. Poor guy.
Yeah.
It's like different opinions and everything. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. There's so much about flags and what they say as well, and yeah, it's like just be proud of who you are and what you stand for, and post with when you post something, just stand by what you post and go with it. You're never going to do or please everybody or most of the people, so don't worry about other people's opinions or thoughts. Take them on board. Yeah, other than that, fuck them. This is my word. If you don't like what I post, just block me or get me out of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Too bad. Sorry, just having a bit of camera trouble here, so I just had to switch cameras.
Oh,
in case you were wondering why you were by yourself.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm all good. I was just making sure that you and I are kind of lined up on the screens, with our head heights and our our facial features.
Yes. So look, we've got some interesting. Obviously, there's plenty of stuff to talk about each and every week. There's since our last show, there's been resignation from the Prime Minister of New Zealand announced. Of course, she's going on the 7th of February. But realistically, look, let's be honest. She jumped before she was pushed. In fact, she may have even been pushed. Let's be fair. And the body language would suggest that she was. To me, personally, she's having a little bit of a tonguey because she knows she's going to Gitmo and she's not coming back.
That's... and I sort of read somewhere that the 7th, although she's sort of stepping down on or by the 7th, but 7th is when she gets picked up, maybe.
Well, see, there was something interesting. Apparently, there's... I haven't seen the photos personally. And guys, remember, everything we say today on the show is our opinion. Go do your own research. please. But yeah. I remember there's apparently there's photos circulating, and I haven't seen them yet, of a US military VIP plane being in New Zealand at that time, and also sighted in Vietnam and Taiwan, where there was also the Prime Minister of Taiwan stepped down and also the President of Vietnam. So figure that out. This is something. Why are people not talking more about this shit? Because it's like, can you not see what's happening here? Look, there's been so many resignations. What do we say? We've already said it in the shows previously. There's over 1,800. I couldn't remember the figures, but I've gone back and researched since. There's over 1,800 CEOs stepped down from their companies in the last 2.5 years. Why? And if New Zealand, Taiwan, Vietnam, they are just the latest in successions of different countries with their head of state stepping down. Why? There's now also rumours that Justin Trudeau's party in Canada are not happy with him and he's about to get the boot. Why? Well, I'm pretty sure that I know why. Neil's got his understanding as to what he thinks is why. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. But Neil, what do you got to say about that? Am I imagining things or what? Oh,
no, there's definitely stuff going on. But, the stuff that's going on and the people that are at the forefront, they're just puppets. And you bring up Justin Trudeau. I saw a 2016 photograph of him with a smile, and then I saw a 2022 smile. And although the face looks the same, the teeth are completely different. So, like when I smile, you can definitely see I got a tooth here that's friggin' way out of alignment. Well, like Justin Trudeau's, he's got gaps in amongst his teeth.
Well, it's the same with Zelensky, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Emily Chan said the last time she actually really thinks she really saw Zelensky for real was right before the war started.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see what he was actually wearing before the war started. Was he in a tracksuit then?
Oh, mate, you know as well as I do that is a Russian thing. They go everywhere in tracksuits. And there's no disrespect to them. An observation that I made when I was working alongside a lot of them and traveling with them. Always in tracksuits whenever they travel. It's a comfort thing and good on them.
Yeah. It's what's happening and how it's happening and how it's unfolding is I guess the way the military and the white hats and the people in control need it to unfold so that we can wake up all these people or wake more people up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, on that note, while we're talking about women heads of state stepping down, particularly the horse one in New Zealand, let's just have a quick look at this. See if it shows up. Yeah, it shows up. Good.
Yeah. I saw this morning. This is good.
The interesting thing was she had already lost numerous human rights cases at the High Court. Her border policy was ruled unlawful for stopping New Zealanders coming back against our Bill of Rights. She's lost multiple pregnancy cases at the High Court. But I think the final straw was the independent investigator, the Ombudsman, ruling just in December that essentially the conduct of her staff and the conduct of her policies in effectively banning pregnant women coming back and many other people in difficult situations was essentially dishonorable and that she should apologize. And it put her in a position where in Parliament just before Christmas, she made it clear she would not apologize for any of her border policies in spite of the people that her own watchdog had clearly said she'd harmed.
What do you see as her legacy?
Well, I think the legacy will be one of cruelty. The notion of the kindness is completely ridiculous to anyone who has an understanding of what she did. I mean, ultimately, when we're talking about things like the pregnant women who were forced to be born overseas are now finding out their children's citizenship is irreparably damaged because of this policy, we have to remember that the border was open if you were wealthy or you're an entertainer or a sports person. So when I was fighting pregnancy cases pro bono for 35 families to come back, Jacinda Ardern's policy allowed 64 foreign DJs to fly into New Zealand to make millions of dollars out of us, while simultaneously forcing these women into incredibly stressful and difficult situations. It was a callous disregard for their rights and the rights of their children. And what I'm interested in is that the story of the citizenship, which is an enormous scandal in itself, was due to break next week. and the government had already been asked to comment on it. And I have a feeling that Jacinda Ardern saw this as something she couldn't come back from, because these children's citizenship is irreparably damaged. And I just don't see how she could have gone through next week as the Prime Minister having to answer questions about that and try to continue to not apologise for what her policy did.
So, I mean, you look at that, and I, you know what, I'm just gonna go on a little bit of a side note here and a little bit of a rant.
Go.
The day that she made her tearful resignation, there was a lot of celebrating in this house. I can tell you that for a fact, and I know there was a lot of celebrating, and a lot of people who are aware and awake of what's fucking going on in the world. There was a lot of celebrating. But I listened, and I don't do it often. I really don't do it often. It was a moment of weakness. It's not even the station that I listened to, so I was in Sarah's car, and it was one of the local stations here on the Gold Coast. And Moira, I don't even think, don't know her Moira Major, I think her name is. She's one of the DJs. Now, she's been on the radio as long as I've been here in Australia. She's a Kiwi. And just paying such tribute to her, I'm like, oh my fucking God. Are you mental? Did you not see what she did? Or are you okay with the fact that she ostracized people in our country? Are you okay with the fact that she was on TV and went, oh, that's exactly what we're doing. We're creating a two-tier state. What, you're good with apartheid? Is that what you're okay with? Because I know I'm freaking not. And that my mind was blown that there's so much adulation for this dictator, this psycho dictator. That's all she is, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm really proud of you, Andrew, because that's to dictator is a nice word to the one who's using.
I usually use a shorter 4-letter word for her. But
it's like, ooh, he really doesn't like her.
No, I really don't. I don't hate anyone. And you know what? I used to say I don't hate anyone. There's only one person in the world that I hate. Funnily enough, that was a female Labour Prime Minister in New Zealand too. But I've changed that. I don't hate anyone. Because hate begets hate, and I don't. That's not what I want, and I don't wish this person. No, I can't even say that because that's not true. I do. I hope that she gets held to account for what she's done, and I hope that for all the leaders around the world who have done terrible things to their people, including here, ScoMo, and even now, Albo, ScoMo, Nomo. Sorry,
Flymo,
Nomo. Fuck off, Mo.
Oh, Gitmo.
Oh, Gitmo. That's it. That's Gitmo. Yeah, that's where they belong. And I'm pretty sure, as I said, I've already said it, I think today, when she was having a little tongue-tongue, having a little cry. If you don't know what tongue-tongue means, it's cry. She was having a little tongue-tongue. I was like, yeah, it's because you're not coming back from Gitmo. She's got a one-way ticket.
Did you share that little clip with me, or did I share it with you? But it was a profiler that had gone and profiled her resignation speech. It was about 5 minutes of breaking that down.
Yep.
And she was told to leave.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Back to these puppets and they're all puppets on a bigger scheme. And the fact that someone was able to see there was a military plane turned up here on that same time frame.
Yeah.
Kind of suggests that the people that are telling or controlling this thing are the right people.
Yeah, I think so. And there's also now, because obviously last week we had the WF summit in Davos and everybody talking. I'm going to say something about that in a second about jets, but let's go back. We'll come back to that. Talking about the fact that Klaus Schwab is now out of favour and they're talking about taking him out as being the head of the WEF, his little brainchild. Well, that to me suggests that he's lost control. And we've already had Putin say globalism. Globalism is dead. Trump said globalism is dead. And, I think we're going to see a comeback there very, very soon as well. But let's come back to the jet thing. Guys, why are you so upset about them arriving by jets? I don't care. Yeah, okay, they're being hypocritical, but they know there's no real fucking climate crisis, otherwise they wouldn't be flying jets. How much do you need? How much evidence do you need to realise, oh, hold on, we're being played? And we have been being played for like fucking 50 or 60 years with regards to the climate. You can go back. There's that meme that went round in the 80s. It was acid rain. In the 90s, it was blah. In the the solar, the ozone layer. Well, yeah. Can we do better things? Absolutely, we can. But is there a climate crisis? No, there's fucking not.
No. And if anything, they talk about them. If there was anything to come out of that part, and 5,000 delegates all flying in their own private jets,
Was the pilots?
The pilots, yeah.
Go, carry on. I won't steal your thunder.
But they didn't want jab pilots. They wanted unvaxxed pilots flying in. So that was probably the biggest story that really probably got swept under the rug a little bit. That needed to be talked about. And the other thing too, I think the sex industry in that region in Davos was blooming is their peak. They're all bloody working overtime.
They flew them in. There's 3,000 of them flown in.
I know it's well. I didn't know that was that.
So my question there is: were the ladies of the night, or maybe it was men of the night? I don't know. Was the workers of the night, were they unvaccinated too? And the reason I say that is because apparently any bodily fluid can exchange this.
Yeah.
So tell you what, makes it really. I'd hate to be a young single guy and unvaccinated at the moment, trying to navigate through all that shit, because you only got to sleep with the wrong person, and I mean that's true for anything anyway, because you could pick up any STD or whatever. But holy shit, I think I'd rather have a VD than pick up vaccinated blood.
I've actually got this dilemma going on in myself. So we all know that I've had one hip. You all saw me walking for a couple of years on the shonky hip, and I finally got it sorted. And in December 2019, you all saw that, and I came back from that good and strong, and I went back after 6 weeks, and the surgeon says, "Yep, you're all good. We'll book you in for your second one in about 4 months' time." I'm like, "Oh, slow down, hold pull the reins up on those horses, buddy." So here we are, 3 years later. And of course it's the other hip was always worse than the first one. So to have it hang on the side anyway. So I sort of decided to give my doctor a ring, and I'm 2.5 hours away from him, so to get a phone conversation. But anyway, he texts me back. He says, "You're behind in your bloods. I want you to go and get a blood test." So I procrastinated on it, and I procrastinated because I just don't want to go in to that medical system, because when I go into a room, like I don't want somebody to tell me I have to wear a mask, and of course that mask mandate's gone from here. But anyway, so somebody was in my ear, in my neck, and I finally got off my butt and did it. And I was procrastinating because I didn't want to put myself through. I don't have a problem getting the blood test. It was the people and the energy and being told that I was thinking I had to be told to wear a mask. So anyway, my hip does need doing, and I'm doing my best with other remedies to sort of prolong that. But I want to prolong it as possibly. Hang on, I jumped the gun. I got the blood test. I sat in a room full of people wearing masks, but nobody bothered me, and I felt really good. And I came away from there going, well, I overthought that too much, and I should have just gone and got it done. So I was really happy from that perspective of it. But I guess the next part is having the conversation with my doctor and actually getting back into the system to get my hip done. I don't want to get my hip done. I don't want to go under the knife, because I'm potentially a marked person. We know what happened to that lady that called Michelle Obama a blooming man. She went under surgery, and friggin' she didn't come back out.
Yep.
So I'm not in a hurry to get it done. I'm going to wait for some other miracle technology for that.
There's a complete distrust in the. Well, for me, there's a complete distrust in the medical fraternity, and it's sad, because I'm sure there's doctors out there that want to do the right thing by people, but they showed their hand. A lot of them showed their hand, particularly in Australia, where they go, "Oh, I have to do this, otherwise APRA will suspend my license." Well, hold on, let's stop for a second. Let's look at that. APRA isn't even a fucking Australian government entity. It's controlled by overseas. So why the hell are you worried about them suspending your license? You've got, do you still have your knowledge? Yep. it's not justification to poison people knowingly. And look, the evidence is so strong now that that's exactly what they've done. Pfizer, I don't know if we've said it on here, but you and I have spoken about it during the week. They had a complete batch of vaccines that was the only vaccines that their staff were allowed to have because they knew they were placebo. They knew they weren't going to damage them. They weren't allowed any of the other batches, just this specific one. And you can research this. You can go and look at it online. You can look at the batch numbers and see which ones were placebos and which ones were expected to cause X amount of damage and which ones were expected to cause Y amount of damage. There was three. I've got 4 up there. There was 3 different batches in which they did that. And the Pfizer employees were only allowed a specific batch. So they knew damn well what they were doing and what was going to happen. I mean, the WEF... to a lesser extent, the UN, but I know that's they're the big brother. They've said for years what they're going to do, and even at Davos last year or the year before, they said, yes, we've been planning this since 2019, right? They had all the patents and everything in 2019, so that's before the scamdemic started in March of fucking 2020. March, April 2020. So we sat down and we planned out the next 5 years and we fought and we realized that if we do this right, by 2023, we can reduce the population by 50%. Well, fucking, how do you think they're doing that?
Well, you've only got to look at there's so much more stuff coming out now in the media about these died suddenly, but it's like, it's ramping up, you know?
It is.
And the age groups of those people who died suddenly are getting lower. Just this morning, I saw another sports star died. There's
every day.
There's a 17% increase in heart attacks and myocarditis or something happening in Australia.
Well, mortality rate is up 18%. And I've heard something, an audio the other day, which I should have saved it for here, and it was talking about... at 10%, you've got a problem and you need to be investigating. But at 18%, God, there's some shit going on here. And you can't... there comes a time where it becomes so obvious. I mean, look, there's that 80-20 rule. I'm not talking about Pareto's law, which Pareto's law is that 80% of the work will get done in 20% of the time, right? Or 20% of the people will do 80% of the work. It's similar to that. But what it is that there is roughly 20% of the world's population that is awake or aware of what's going on, and 80% that's not. And there's a good chance that 80% will never be. I mean, I still get people, and Sarah does at work too. She's a hairdresser, so she sees a lot of people. They are still ignorant to what's going on. Still totally ignorant to what's going on. And even if you speak to them about it, it hasn't affected me at all. Not fucking yet, it hasn't. Not yet, but it will. Because,
the amount of people that are still affected by it, and I would be the 1%. If I go by the people that were sitting in the waiting room waiting to get a blood test, I was the only one without a mask. Just exactly. One, and it was a big room. There would have been 20 people in there. When I first went in there, 1%, then, is it? Well, it's 5%. Oh yeah. Well, when I went in there, I'm like, I didn't even really want to be in here. So I said, how long is the queue? About an hour. So I'll wait in the car, thanks. I'll come back in a minute.
Flick me a text when I'm ready.
It's like, but that gives an indication of how many people are still asleep to this. It's like, there's no such things as coincidence. We've got a really good friend who we get our stellar blends off of, Gavin McGowan.
Yes.
And boy, is he pulling some punches, or
he's not pulling any punches.
He's nailing it on social media and Facebook too. He's just calling it as it is.
Absolutely. And that's what needs to happen. And that's been the problem with social media and all of these. And I guess we're starting to see a change in the guard because they're being called on their shit. Google's been called on their shit. YouTube's been called on their shit. Facebook's been called on their shit. Twitter has been called on their shit. We've talked about the Twitter files that are coming out each week. So maybe we're seeing a bit of a change in that. But the fact is, people like you and I and other people that are even better researched than us are being silenced because they don't want the fucking truth to get out there. And that's, that's why we started the show under the rug, I guess. We could talk about all of the hidden technologies that we've had throughout the years that have been hidden from us. And you know what? Michael Tellinger, guys, I know we've spoken about Michael Tellinger before. Go and read some of his stuff. It's just so freaking enlightening. And the videos. If you're in our Telegram group, I know we're not as active in there as we possibly could be, but we do drop nuggets of information in there each week. I dropped one in there, a 15-minute clip or 16-minute clip of Michael Tellinger the other day, and it's from that bigger half-hour one, bigger 3-hour one. But there's some great information in there about frequency. Just,
that brings to mind, and I've seen a lot of stuff up in some of the Q posts and Whiplash and that, but all about Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The movie Back to the Future. Well, if you think about it, and the stuff that we've been, I guess, becoming even more awake of our hidden past, it's like, this is what excites me, because we are going, that was more our future than what we're living now. That's more advanced than what we're living in today. So it's like, we're going back there. That was our true future. That's where we're going at 88 miles an hour, apparently, when the clock strikes whatever. I think they moved the doomsday clock to 90 seconds before 12.
Isn't it funny how all these pop culture references actually do, well, it's not funny and it's not coincidental, it's by design, but all these pop culture references do reference back to things like that can be found in scripture and even before that. And what I'm reading right now, the slave species of God. That's what I'm reading. It's Michael Tellinger at the moment, and he talks about so for years, scientists said that 97% of our junk is 90% of our junk. 97% of our DNA is junk. It's junk DNA. It doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't perform a function. So what they were basically saying is that we live and we function and we breathe and we do everything that we do, all these amazing feats, on 3% of our DNA, of our genome. And like, well, okay, then what is the other 97%? Oh, it doesn't have a function. So that troubled Michael Tellinger, and he's like, nah, piss off, it must have a function. Why the hell would you have something? It's like the appendix, right? Doctors go, oh, you don't need the appendix, we can take that out anytime. It clearly performed a function for something. We weren't created with an appendix for no reason. But so Michael Tellinger started exploring that and asking the questions and like, well, okay, what does it mean? And what he's discovered is that Adam could well have been here 250,000 years ago. And because he was lonely, Eve could have been created from his essence. Now, of course, the Bible tells us that, and it says, so the Bible stole that a little bit from some clay tablets that were eons older than the Bible. Now, you can read all about this in the Slave Species of God. I'm not 100% through it yet, but what I've have read so far is enough for me to go, holy shit, this is amazing. So there's heaps of information out there. Just got to look for it. You got to look for it. Sometimes it'll find you. Sometimes it will find you. And on that note, I have to thank John Vasseur. If you're watching, thank you, my friend. Those books that you sent me, just amazing. Some really, really good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and I guess it's trying to find it that resonates with us, and if it resonates with you, it just gives you, it feels like it raises your frequency. You feel good, then clearly this got something good about it.
Yeah,
I've got my phone up on the screen next to me just here, and I'm just kind of scrolling through. What I do is I share stuff with Andrew during the week, which I think that would be good to talk about. I've just got one come up on my screen, and we talk about Jacinda going. We talk about the resignations over the last week. And we talk about Trudeau, and that it's not really them. And so I'm just watching this one. I sent it with Andrew, and because all these files are being found in all these blooming leaders' blooming houses, and there was a meme. There was a sort of a little GIF that came out, and it had Biden getting off or walking. It had all these bloody files coming out his ass, But I said, and of course it was great. But then when I had a closer look at that, and I'm not sure if you can find it, Andrew, to play it, but it's like, when you watch him walking, and he's clearly one of these bloody robots, because if you see the guy walking behind him, his legs clearly fill the pants that he's wearing, right? But when you look at the pants that Biden's wearing, it looks like it's just a mechanical leg underneath. You know, you can imagine a sort of these psyop bloody things or robots, whatever they're called. It just looks like there's no meat to them. There's absolutely nothing there. It's not real.
I don't think you sent it to me, so you'll have to share it yourself.
I could have sworn I sent it to you.
No, you showed it to me.
I tell you what, let's see if I can share this one because it's actually quite funny. No, I can't.
That's the next one.
Oh, that's quite a little bit of a giggle because it's got a commentary on it, which is very funny.
Oh, the Joe Biden one?
Yeah, with them walking off the plane and then walking down the footpath. Just play that but listen to the commentary because it's funny.
I haven't got it.
Oh, haven't you?
No, you'll have to send it to me. If you've got it up, send it to me and I'll play
It's on I'm watching it on your Telegram chat that you've got that I've sent you.
Then tag me in it, reply to it so I can find it. And then I can play it.
Secret Service team, the Eagle has landed.
Oh, yeah. I can hear that.
What's the best way to do that? The quickest way?
Quickest way? If you're there, just reply to it and it'll come up at the bottom again. That's the quickest way.
Reply.
I'm just trying to find it here. Can't see it.
Send.
I've got all the ones with Jacinda Ardern smoking a pipe and
Got it. The Eagle has landed.
There you go.
But even in this one, you can see what I'm talking about. Just look at his pants. His legs don't fill them.
All right, let's have a look.
Secret Service team, the Eagle has landed and is making his way down the helicopter stairs. We know his history with stairs, and this could be a disaster. Stand by. Eagle has made it down the stairs. He was a little wobbly at the end, but he made it. Eagle appears to be very disoriented today. We're going to need to do like last time and point out exactly where we need him to go.
It doesn't look like there's any meat on
Secret
there.
Service team, prepare to point. Hold that point. Perfect. No way he could miss that.
It's like he's drunk.
Eagle will be turning in 5, 4, 3, 2. He missed his mark. Eagle is wandering. Jesus Christ. All units be advised. We are going to need a pretty lady or small child of some sort with nice smelling hair to get the Eagle back on track. And we've lost visual.
And we've lost control.
I thought that was brilliant.
Right.
But yeah, you just look at those legs. There's no meat in them.
No, there's not. You're right. You're 100% correct.
And I've seen the facial shots of 2018 with him and what it is.
And the earlobe and everything. You can see.
Yeah.
It's an actor wearing a prosthetic mask. Well, at least that's what I believe.
They've got more than one. They've got actors. They've got
actors.
Robots,
yes.
They throw them all in.
In fact, Jim Carrey's gone as far as to say on one of the shows that he was playing Joe Biden. He was trying to say it tongue in cheek, but I don't know how tongue in cheek it was. Anyway, so we've been rambling now for half an hour. So let's dive into our topic. Obviously, we've covered the current events, but guys, obviously each week we want to try and we're going to get better at this. We're going to make sure that we actually have a little bit of structure. Neil and I talked about this week, so we don't just go from pillar to post and find out what we're doing when we're here. But this week we wanted to talk about Electron culture. Neil, do you want to have a word about that?
Yeah, I guess my family were gardeners. My grandfather had an awesome garden, but I guess things come across our paths that resonate with us, and I said that before. And I can't even remember how this came across my path, but it was actually off one of my searches and looking at the massive vegetables that used to be growing. You're talking cabbages that you can't even fit on the screen. Cauliflowers, just produce, and then I got. I was listening to something and the word electroculture come up. So I put the Google search in and I came up with the site, and man, we don't need fertilizers. No. We don't need pesticides. And it's all part of is disconnecting us with our main energy source, with the thing that makes us function.
Like that 97% of our DNA that we've been disconnected from.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. And it's like electroculture and it's been around in the 1700s and the 1800s. I'm not sure if we've talked about Victor Schauberger. He was the one with vortices and, the energy within water and stuff like that.
Oh, we should find that video. That's cool.
Oh, it's just, what about that one I shared with you the other day? That water going up the...
That's what I mean.
Like,
we should you have a look for that. I'm going to play this video for you while Neil finds that other one, and he's going to reply to me again, not the same as he did with the last one. But have a look at this. This is what Neil's talking about, and I apologise for the screen being small.
What is the secret to growing giant plants? Do you ever remember seeing pictures of giant cabbages or giant pumpkins? What may have been the secret to growing these vegetables is a lost farming technology known as electroculture. The way that electricity affects plants was first observed in 1746 by a Scottish doctor named Dr. Mainbray. He electrified 2 trees and observed them putting forth new branches in October, something which had never happened before. In 1902, physicist Professor Lemstrom visited Alaska and observed plants growing faster under the aurora borealis. Due to the worldwide shortage of fertilizer, countries like China are investigating the use of electroculture and finding amazing results. They are achieving a 25 to 50% increase in yield with a 75% reduction in fertilizers and pesticides. Let's help spread the word about electroculture farming.
Oh, better turn that camera on, otherwise it's not going to work very well, is it?
Yeah, that was the one that sent me on the search, and we were just watching that video before, Andrew, and wow, the knowledge that's out there on electroculture. So basically, what that is it's tapping into the ether. So I will wear that necklace with the pyramids on it, and the guy that created that pendant that I wear. Wrote the book Pyramid Power, and he was a child protege. But when you sort of get into this energy, you could preserve food within these systems. We don't need electricity. We don't need fertilizer. We don't need any of this stuff. We can become self-sufficient really easily.
So that video that we just watched a little bit earlier, they were talking about so that they were using electroculture right up until about 1940, 1950, which is when they turned around and said, "Oh no, this will produce much more food." Well, it didn't. It actually started degrading our food supply at that point in time. But what they said, stop using copper because your yield is too high, therefore you'll lose money. That's what they told them. Stop using copper to electro farm because your yield's too high, i.e. you're producing too much produce and you're going to lose money because of it. So it just doesn't make sense. But this actually ties back, what we just talked about just here, what we just showed you, the video, ties back to something that Michael Tellinger says. And he says it in that video. If you go back and we'll find it in our group, guys, if you're not in our Telegram group yet, the link is below, so you can find it there. But go back and find the video, and he says, most people think we live in an electromagnetic world. That's what we're led to believe, right? That's how we're taught, an electromagnetic world. When actually, and this is what Michael Tellinger says, there's certainly plausibility around it, we live in a magneto-electric world. Now, you might go, well, what's the difference? There's a big difference. It's the way in which the energy flows. So we don't create it. The energy is already there. We harvest it. We can harvest it. And Tesla knew this. That's why he was able to create light from a light bulb, putting it in the ground.
Yeah. They have done everything to cut us off and numb us down from the knowledge of the energy that exists in the air around us.
100%.
But the plants haven't been dumbed down. They still keep growing.
Yeah.
So how have they stifled that? Well, they've started denurturing the soils.
Yep.
And all the planet's soils are being denurtured. We don't need the fertilizers and
also being, with the likes of chemtrails and things, they're being sprayed from the sky as well. And, for anyone out there, I know we've said this before, I'm going to say it again, for anyone out there going, oh, chemtrails, they do exist, and the governments have even told you they fucking exist. So if you can't see that by now, then you're just fucking ignorant.
Yeah, yeah. The I found that other video with the vortex.
I see that. You want to watch it now?
You put it on, but I guess sort of before then, with the whole electro culture, it's simply tapping into the ether. And how do you do that? With a garden stake and a bit of copper wire.
Yeah.
Stick it in. The higher up it is, the higher that your produce will grow. And you can just take that. You can go down to the local warehouse or timber company. You'll be able to grab a coil of copper, wind it round your your little garden stake, preferably a bit stick from home because it's aligned with the energy of that place, and stick it into. I imagine if you stick it next to your lemon tree, you're going to get better lemons, better tasting lemons.
Yep.
But what it's doing is taking the energy, the ether, into the earth, and it's giving it all the nutrition that it needs. It's revitalizing it, and the energy from all the produce that you're sticking benefits from that. So that's one real quick example, but you can expand on that in so many other ways, which is what we've been learning.
Yeah, and guys, for those of you who go, oh, I'm a bit skeptical, that's fine, cool. I'm going to do that myself with an apple tree that I've got that's going bunter at the moment, to be fair. I'm about to repot it, so I'm going to repot it into a bigger pot so that I've got it'll be a, it's not a, maybe eventually it'll be planted in the ground, but it's going to be one that it's going to be like a patio apple tree. So just be able, anyway.
Well, if you think about what Andrew's about to put on is about vortices, and so this is water. But I mean, if you look at if you know how the energy flows around the planet,
which is toroidal.
It's toroidal. It's a massive vortex that we're living in.
100%. As is the body, right? The body's
So it's like, so would you just kind of think about that, and then you look at this little video on this, and it's like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, but watch it. It's very cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
Let's have a look.
So that is traveling upstream. Like, that's impossible in our science.
This is cool.
I like this one.
Yeah.
It's like that defies the laws of nature. We've been taught.
Yep.
So like, it's just things that make you go
Maybe we should change the name of the podcast.
But it's like, this is all energy that's naturally around us. It's just been hidden. And so when we talk about moving into the golden age, we talk about going back to the future. Well, these are what we're showing you today are where we need to start. We need to go back to where they cut us off, reinstate all of that. We might have to rebuild it. And then just imagine how advanced we'd be today if they hadn't bloody chopped us off from it all.
Yeah, exactly. We've spoken about Tartaria before, and we've spoken about it a couple of times. And of course, you sent that other video this morning about the Empire State Building once being actually a building for Zeppelins to dock at, and we've got all these docking stations all around the world, and Zeppelins were abundant, and they were the
it was a free traveling device.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But if you talk to anybody about those hot air balloons that people used to fly around, they blow up.
They're dangerous because of the Hindenburg, which was so greatly publicised.
Yeah, and it's like that was the way they got rid of them. And what was the other? What was it? The jumbo jet that they took off the market. There must have been something about that as well. I don't know. The supersonic.
The Concorde.
Yeah, the Concorde. There must be something about that too.
I think there's another one coming out. They kept falling out of the sky. That one, it was because it was old. But there's another one coming out apparently.
It's electric, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Interesting.
although look, electric, unless it's running from the ether, which we know it can. Electric vehicles have got a place, but not if you've got to mine cobalt and lithium to get them, because that's just as damaging to the environment as fossil fuels, which they're not. Yeah. Fossil fuels.
You have to think then, and if the right people are in control, and I believe that they are, and there's a big push for electric cars, which we know the current system on creating electricity to feed these things is just absolute bullshit and is not going to work. So the technology that will fuel these things in the future is the sort of stuff that we're showing you now. If that bloody vortex, if that rod can work its way up water flowing against the stream, it looks so simple, right? But if you do the laws of dynamics, the amount of energy that's coming down and this twig going up, it's like what we just saw would be impossible. How could you calculate the energy that was driving against for the weight of itself to do that? I don't know how to do the calculations, but it's like if you were to do it, it's like there's no scientific data that would show you that it can do it. That's like perpetual energy, perpetual motion. It's
perpetual motion doesn't exist.
Oh, well, I think. What is it then?
Oh, exactly. No, sorry, I was being facetious. That was tongue firmly in cheek when I said that.
We could probably do a whole segment of just showing all the different electrical free energy devices that have been produced over the last 100 years.
Yeah, and I think we've already touched too on the. Actually, I'm going to share something in a second because it relates to this. We've touched too on the hydrogen car and the dude that created the hydrogen engine and all of a sudden was dead. Funny how that works. Toyota have just come out. It's funny. The article, the headline is clickbaity and misleading because it says that Toyota pulls out of the EV market. No, they didn't. They didn't pull out of the EV market at all. EV market's there. It's strong. It's growing. It'll get better because we will be able to harness this free energy that is there. That has been there forever. The Egyptians knew about it. We've spoken about that before. But what they have said is they believe that the people should have more choice. And if people still want to drive an internal combustion engine, they will still create cars that will have internal combustion engines. And to me, that's a choice people should have. I mean, we've already spoken about the fact that oil is not a finite supply. It's infinite. And anybody that disagrees, that's fine. You can disagree. Believe the propaganda you've been told all these years. But there's been numerous scientists that have proven that it's infinite. And it was Rockefeller came out and said, oh, shit, we need to make a scarcity around that. We'll call it fossil fuel. There's evidence of all of that shit. So, people need to have that choice. Will there be a better way? Absolutely there will, because we'll be able to harness that free energy from that comes from the ether, that comes from the ley lines of the earth. We will be able to harness that, but it's not digging into the ground to get the cobalt and the lithium. That's not how we're going to do it.
Go back to, you talked about hydrogen and the cars and the guy disappeared or whatever happened to him.
Yep.
But so hydrogen is a part of water, H2O. The H is the hydrogen, right? So think about it. What are our bodies made up of?
Water, 70%.
What's water? H2O, right? What percentage of that H2O is the actual hydrogen? It's like,
well, you can work that out from H2O because it's hydrogen to 2 parts oxygen.
so it's like, you think about that though. So we've just shown water going up a pipe, a vortex going up through the thing. We've just shown copper coming down and putting into the plants, and the plants feeding off this energy. So if this ether is in the air, that is helping to, is it the energy that drives the H2O? Is it it's like,
I need to correct myself. I'm pretty sure it's 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen, H2. H squared. 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen.
Because the actual oxygen is the bad part. That's the oxidative stress and oxidative.
Ooh, but ox tongue. I haven't had that in ages.
Don't talk about food, you're on a mission.
Look, I'm well. I'm out of my fasting window. I can eat now.
Oh, that's good. All right. Hey,
for those who are playing at home, I've lost 3.5 kgs in the last 2 weeks.
And he's not doing anything special.
No, I'm just changing my eating windows. That's it. Literally, that's all I've done.
So and I like what he's doing and I've done a lot on it before. A lot of stuff that I've done, and I've done it. I've participated in it myself, and we all need to do it. There's countries that do this for a whole month every year, and it's they call it Ramadan, but it's known as intermittent fasting. Fasting.
They only eat during the dark hours.
Yeah, and so all Andrew's done is basically cut out one meal a day, and he's not hungry. He's probably got more energy, more focus, and the weight's starting to drop off.
Just call me grasshopper.
Hey, I was just flicking through. My phone, and I see that we're getting close to the half hour, and I just wanted to sort of read out this that I've got on here. So it's like, you hear us saying, it's like, oh, hurry up! When are we going to get to this point? When are we going to get to the point where we can start moving forwards in this new world that we want to build? And so I've got a sort of like a little list here that's certainly worthy of reading out. So Dogecoin, Cardano lead crypto dip as market sheds 27 billion overnight. Okay, nothing big there to look at. The Kuwaiti government.
Nothing big there to look at.
No, well,
we just lost 27 billion overnight. It's fine. That's fine.
It's like you go and look at the coin market cap and see 27 billion missing overnight. It's like, ooh, something serious is going on. In all honesty, I would suggest that is the white hats moving stuff into the Stellar network, but that's another whole program. So we'll get back to that one. But
that's coming soon.
The Kuwaiti government resigned.
Hold on. Do we add that to the 3 that we already spoke about at the start of the call?
Well, that's the whole government, not just one.
Oh yeah. That's happened in a couple of different countries too, by the way.
Oh, there's massive resignations and layoffs going on. Here we go. IBM's top revenue estimates it will cut 3,900 jobs. Right?
Add that to the 3,000 or 4,000 from, was it Goldman Sachs last week or the week before?
Yeah. Oh, there's Google going to lay off 12,000. There's shitloads sitting. That's not even on this list. Toyota's CEO and president, whatever his name is to step down.
Ado, isn't it? Akido.
Yeah. The S&P to cut 3,000 roles and explore sale of Qualtrics stake.
See, that all sort of points to liquidity moving from there over to the Stellar blockchain where the new stock market's going to be, doesn't it? That's kind of how it reads to me. I mean, if you look at that executive order from Trump, all of these assets being seized, why did Bezos split from his wife? Why did Gates split from his wife? Well, they did that so they could save a bit of their money.
Yeah.
Didn't work, but I'm just going to answer a question. Carola, I am drinking filtered water at the moment. It's not anything special. I need to get it.
She wants you to be drinking Kangen water. That's
I know she wants me to drink Kangen water. I've got people here that I can get Kangen stuff off, and should be. It's yeah.
Although interesting on that though is because we got into electroculture, just learning how to ionize your water really simply. Yeah, just buy yourself a silver teaspoon, put it in the jug, and preferably a copper jug, or that'll do it anyway, and just stir it 8 times in one rotation or clockwise, and then 8 times in the reverse rotation. That'll ionize your water.
And if we go back to also something we said when we did our GSP, our goal setting party for that 5-hour workshop that we did, we saw what effect words have on water. So you can bless your water yourself. You can say thank you. And I do. I thank my water every day because that will have an effect on what it does for your body as well. Yeah. Believe it or not. It doesn't matter if you believe it. It's still true.
Yeah. On the list, so S&P said that smartphone shipments plunged to a low not seen since 2013. And then down the bottom there, it says Q phones incoming. So I think Trump's got a bit to do with this. Because didn't he come out and challenge or say that he was going to start designing his own phone?
I'm not sure. Possibly. So, I know that Elon's meant to be bringing out the Pi phone or the Tesla phone. Yeah. I think it's a Pi phone.
Yeah. On the list still, 4 huge grocery stores, including Walmart, are closing multiple locations this month. There's a retail apocalypse. Several major retailers are closing down.
Here's something else. I don't think we touched on this. There was a whole heap of banks. I think it was Citibank in the States. Like 400 branches or something closed or rebranded. If they didn't close, they rebranded to Stellar Bank.
Oh,
not,
yeah.
Not that there's anything in that, Stellar Bank. What could Stellar Bank be? I couldn't possibly tell you. Interesting times.
Oh, well, there was one of the banks was closing down all its ATM machines. I can't remember which one that was.
Lots doing that. It's funny. So I'll tell you a little story. My good buddy, Sam, is on his way, and he's on a plane right now. He's been on a plane for an hour, 2 hours. He's on his way back to the States for work, for his green card. So I wish him all the luck at the other end there. But we had a conversation, and I think I had the similar conversation with you the other day, Neil. Now, there's been a couple of shows that we've watched recently that has suggested that US currency issued before a certain date, I think it was 2019, so notes that are before 2019 are going to be, it might even be 2020, are going to be defunct. They're going to be worthless. They're going to be taken out of circulation, destroyed, whatever. So I was like, shit, I'm pretty sure we've still got some American currency here. And the boys did in their money tins, so we broke into their money tins and got the American dollars out. They had $40 each. Yeah, and I had $40 each, and I had $105. So we had $185 in total. And on the exchange, should have been $260 odd, and we received $239. And this is from Crown Currencies. No affiliation, guys. I've had great experiences with Crown Currencies, just for full disclosure. But they say, oh, we don't have any commissions. No, they just give you a shit exchange rate. But when I brought it up with that guy, he's like, oh no, we don't know anything about that. We'd be the first to know. No, they just don't want that US currency because they know it's going to be worthless. But that said, I said that to Sam this morning, and he goes, yeah, imagine when we can do it with Women Stellar, because you'll just be able to send it to yourself from here and pick it up there, and there'll be no transaction fees. I was like, oh yeah, through MoneyGram. So literally I can change my Australian dollars to Stellar and pick it up as US dollars at the other side for like pennies on the dollar. I won't lose anything.
The new financial system that's coming is just so exciting. And we've said it before. We're watching it's in free fall. That's something we didn't talk about. Swift saying that as of the 1st of February, that you can't move anything into crypto under 100,000 K.
Yeah, so what is that doing? That's cutting out the lower players. That's cutting out the blue-collar workers, because who's got $100,000 that they're going to shift? All that is doing is supporting the elite. So that's why Swift is dying a horrible death. And good that it's dying a horrible death. Sorry.
Bring it on.
Really. I'm not really. I'm quite happy about it anyway. It's just not happening fast enough for me. But it is happening.
Andrew and I, and we talk often, and we have your best interest at heart when we talk often. You're part of our family. It's like, what is it that we can bring to everybody that is going to be worthy? We've all been on several or multiple projects together, and we're still waiting for rewards. Fingers crossed. Some of these things will come to fruition. But if we could find a project worthy of moving into the future with, that's going to give awesome rewards and is beneficial to humanity and gets humanity back on its feet, from health, from restoration, health restoration, soil restoration, like you name it, the stuff that needs to be done. If we could find something like that, is that something that we could collaboratively, is that the word we're looking for? Together, help create a group that finds a project that we can all align ourselves with and benefit from moving into the future. Is that something that would interest you all?
Yeah, so I guess what Neil's trying to say in a very short context is if we found a perfect project that was going to be sustainable, move into the future in a good light that we could all benefit from, good benefits for very little amount of money, would you want to come together as a collective to help these projects so that we could benefit from them in the future? If that's something that would be of interest to you guys, then make sure you comment down below, because we are at the bottom of the hour. Make sure that you comment down below, and we'll get back and we'll get in touch with you. However we can.
Yeah, we'll find a way to make it work. But there's still cheapers. Last week we kind of wanted to finish early. This week we've probably got a plethora of stuff still to talk about.
Hey, and on that note too, actually, next week I won't be here, so I don't know if Neil's going to do the show by himself or he's going to take a week off. But I am going to Bathurst for the very first time in my life. I've been watching Bathurst since I was in nappies. It's not the 6-hour race; it's the 12-hour race. But I'm going to Bathurst next week, so I'm not going to be available for this. I'll be driving on Thursday next week.
Next week, I will actually be spending quality time with my mother. I'm going to do a bit of a road trip with her.
Awesome.
Going to drive sort of from the Whangarei right down to take her back to Wellington and get back into some of this electroculture, because she's watched the video. She's really, really excited about that. We might want to put that video for those that are interested into the link
that last one, that big one, that long one.
Yeah. The knowledge in there is just phenomenal.
Absolutely, it's awesome. It's a great video, really great video. Blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'd suggest you watch it, because let's say the shit hits the fan tomorrow, like you could take this technology, which would be great if it did. You could take this technology and you could actually survive. Totally. It's about eating and being able to feed the fuel into our bodies. So this video will help you get the knowledge to know how to do that really simply, and you don't need fertilizers, you don't need pesticides, and the produce will grow. So on that note, love you guys. Thanks for turning up and watching us again this week. We will have a week off, and we'll be getting away from, we'll be spending quality time and back to nature almost.
100%. Actually, I realised it's something I haven't been doing recently is walking on the beach, so I need to be going back and doing that. All right, guys, been great to be here with you this week. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. It'll be Thursday again. It may well be on Facebook. We'll keep you posted, though. I don't know if I'd get away with saying what I said today on Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah. Hey, but if you are interested in another opportunity, then we might be able to. We've got something up our sleeve.
It's not a networking opportunity, guys. It's just we're looking for just investments that we can we can get into it ourselves right now. But if we go into it as a collective, then we can get much better benefits and also allow people that might not be able to meet the minimum threshold be able to get involved with it as well. And that's something that's important to us.
Yeah, that's huge, and I'm glad you actually said that, Andrew, because I actually didn't think about it to that level. But yeah, that's no.
What are you grateful for, Neil?
I'm grateful for being here with you and everybody else that's, if you're not watching it right now, who watches it in the future. But share this one, because it's certainly is going to be a good share.
Yeah, totally.
Some more people in there. The more people we get involved with this, the quicker we get things done. So it's
100%.
It's the global awakening. It's the great awakening.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
All right. Good to be here with you, brother. Good to be here with everybody else. Love yous all. Namaste. I'm not staying, actually. I'm leaving, but anyway. It simply means my soul recognizes your soul, and guys, that is forever true. And we're just getting started.
Love conquers all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ka kite anō.
Ka kite.